Good day, and welcome to Common Man's Corner. My name is Wayne,
I'm Brian.
and Common Man's Corner is designed to be a discussion about what affects the common man. What society thinks is right, or what it thinks is right. Hopefully generate some discussion, bring up some viewpoints to maybe just get the rest of the world understanding what the common man really thinks, not just what we're told. Tonight's topic, I think we're going to go with right to the core of all evils or all goods, depending on which side of the coin you're on, is money. Money's been around pretty much since, or currency has been around since the dawn of time and the dawn of man, since we started recording things. It's been the controlling factor of a lot of things, and most people believe, or a lot of people believe, it's the root of all evil.
Pretty much is like.
Now, being the root of all evil is great and dandy, but let's face it, Brian, I mean, our society and every society isn't going to function without money.
Pretty much not, yeah.
So,
Some way it's going to be used in some way, shape, or form, but I mean, it's not being used right now. Correctly now. That's for sure. Like,
yeah, but is it not being used right, or is this not being used right by the 99%, where the 1% have all of it?
yeah, that's true. But really, it's not even being used right at all. Like, money should operate and represent energy, movement, progression, whereas a lot of our money we're using it now is for things like making money from money is wrong. That's not the intent or purpose of money. So you can't making money off of interest is wrong. In fact, speaking of interest, did you know that there is no religion? If there's one thing that unites all religions, it's that they all agree that taxes are wrong. Even Christianity says that Jesus said it, that taxes were wrong. It's wrong to tax the man's work. So I mean, it's bullshit.
I think all religion agrees to that because they themselves don't want to be taxed. And they get away with it while the rest of us pay it.
Yeah, that is true.
Religion's another topic we'll get into later on, because
Yeah.
that one could be quite heated and quite controversial. But yeah, taxes, I understand the concept behind taxes. I mean, you pay your taxes, the country that you live in keeps going. You got to have taxes for public roads, you got to have it for hospitals, you got to have it for whatever else. Otherwise, it all just kind of falls apart. My problem with taxes is, or one of the big things is, it's not uniform.
That's true.
You're dirt poor.
Yeah.
Sure, you got up to a certain tax bracket, you don't pay anything. I understand that. If you ain't got two nickels to rub together, you're not going to be able to take 2 dimes from the guy.
That's right.
That makes sense. And then you get the middle class guy, and in our case, anyone making between 20,000 and 60,000,
Yeah.
and it's just a large chunk is gone.
Yeah.
So he works a 40-hour work week, but in reality, you're only working 20 hours or 15 hours for yourself. The rest of it's
That's
working
right.
for the government that's paying for you to take it from you and doing it in. So it's kind of a circle there.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the ones that are making 100,000, 200,000. They're just raped.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we all sit back and say,
Believe it.
as the common guy saying, I'd love to make $100,000 a year. There's nothing I couldn't do. Bullshit.
You pay out a lot of it. That's
You
what
lose a lot
That's
of
what
it.
you're gonna do. Yeah.
The problem comes in when you start hitting like 500,000, $1 million. Then all your legal loopholes come in.
That's right.
And
yeah.
there's nothing. There's guys that will make $1 million and pay less taxes than a guy that will make 25,000 will pay.
That's right. Yeah.
There's issues with that. And of
Yeah.
course, it's already been a proven factor with what the churches make alone. If they paid taxes on it like the common people do, we wouldn't have a debt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
true. They get away with a lot of taxes. You're right. Like the Vatican, like ridiculous. They would probably pay the homeless with the taxes they would generate if they did have to pay it. Like, isn't that what they're supposed to be doing anyway? Like with all that money.
That's what they claim.
Right.
But once again, we're getting into religion on that one.
Yeah. True.
So, money being the root of evil, or all good, we need to have money. We
Yeah.
need to have currency.
So we're agreeing on that.
I don't disagree with the fact that if you work hard and you have a lot of good luck or good deals, or you're somebody really skilled, or you own the company in the big business, you get to make the bigger amount of money, and you should be able to take home the bigger amount of money.
Sure.
And let's face it, if you earned the money or made it, or were smart enough to put all the risk into your, like all the eggs in one basket and take all the risk,
Sure.
you get to have the bigger car, the bigger boat, the bigger house.
Sure.
I got no problem with this stuff.
Yeah.
But I really think across the board, if you're going to pick whatever amount, 10%, 20%, 30%,
Yeah.
45%, whatever it is for taxes, everyone pays it across the board.
Yeah.
If you make a charitable donation to a church or a religion, that was your God you chose to worship.
Chose to do it.
You don't get a tax write-off for this crap.
That's right.
I don't get, I didn't get to have a church come over to me and look over and say, geez, boys, you're having a really tough go this year. Here's a little extra for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
And frankly, I don't want it anyway. There's others that could use it more. But the
Yeah.
point is, they shouldn't get tax breaks. If you give to a political party That is you choosing to support the party you want in,
That's right.
or the lesser of the evils of the parties that we have to choose from most of the
right.
time, to put in. That's the whole point. It's called support, not I'm going to give to you and then get even more off my taxes in the long run. If I'm rich, and if I'm poor, well, thank you very much for your dollars, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as I get your dollars or your vote, I don't need both.
Yeah. Another thing that you've ever thought about having a maximum amount of money you could ever earn at any given time? Like if you consider that money is everybody's, it's a public, it's a public commodity. It's owned by all of us. For one person to hoard it all, or for one group of people to hoard all that money, isn't that really going against society as well as a whole? Sure, they worked for it, and maybe they theoretically in some universe deserve it to have more than the rest of the planet combined, but they say we can't put caps on what you're allowed to earn because it points back to socialism, I believe. I don't really know much about socialism, but I keep hearing that word pop up a lot, and it sounds like a great system because all the great ideas seem to come out of it.
Wow,
But
socialism.
I don't know anything about it, but I do know that it seems to, if it's working right, my understanding of it's supposed to take care of the people, right?
Well, I've studied a little bit of socialism.
Oh, yeah.
The theory behind socialism is brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone gets an even amount.
Right.
Great. That's providing everyone puts in an even amount. It's supposed to be based on your strengths and your weaknesses. No one gets left behind. Everyone gets it. There's 25 carrots and there's 25 people. Everyone gets 1 carrot and you all make do.
I see.
The problem is you get 3 guys out there growing those 25 carrots, and you get 2 guys saying, I'm going to record and document all the information that goes about the carrots. Sitting
Okay.
back in a nice warm heated house doing nothing but posting paperwork.
Okay.
And then you get a guy at the top saying, well, yeah, but I get my carrot just for simply by telling people, okay, you're going to be the carrot farmer this month, he's going to be the potato or dirt pusher, and he's going to be... And as you get, half the society is going to sit back and say, no, I'm not doing anything, or I'm doing the cushy jobs, per se.
Okay.
You also get the problem with socialism being, and therefore the problem of even distribution of money, we'll say, because some people like to use the distribute from the rich and give it to the poor.
Okay.
When that happens, or same with money, I really think you're going to run into the problem of... Best example I saw was a group of people, like 10 or 20 people, all doing a test. How socialism would work is you study really hard and you get a C because that's the best you're going to achieve.
Yeah.
I study extremely hard and I get a D because I'm just not good in this particular topic. Joe Bloggins down the corner studies really hard and gets an A.
Yeah.
Great. This is what we have on this particular subject. Next subject comes around, you study really hard, get an A+, I study really hard, get a B-, and Joe Bloggins comes in at an F because he ain't got a clue what he's talking about. We all have strengths and weaknesses, we can all go with it, but
Sure.
with the communist, or with the socialist side of it, we'd all do our tests, we'd all turn it in, she tallied up, well, you had a C and I had a D and he had an A, and Sally over there had a A+. But the average of all those are going to be a B. So now everyone has a B. Okay, because we're all even. It's all been put into one pot and everyone gets redistributed equal amount.
Sure.
Great. She studied really hard. I didn't do so shit hot and I still got a B. Far better than when I studied hard.
Yeah.
Next time test comes around, I'm not studying at all. I'm going out shooting hoops and drinking beer.
Sure.
You, on the other hand, like, well, I studied pretty hard.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to study that hard. But Sally still wants an A, so she studies her panties right off. And then you get Joe Bloggins over in the corner going, gotta get in the book, gotta get in the book, get in the book. He writes a test. Well, instead of you getting, or me getting a D and you getting a C, this time we both get Fs, because we didn't bother to study at all.
Right.
Well, now it's not a B anymore. Now it's a C+, because we brought him down. But it's okay, because we still got higher and did nothing for it. Next time around, why are they going to study so hard knowing that we're not bothering, and they're only getting partial credit?
Yeah.
So, they don't try so hard. They don't study at all. Bloggins says the hell with it, and I'm going to go shoot hoops with Wayne, and Sally's kind of like, well, Brian's over there having a cup of cold beer and a barbecue with the wife and kids. Let's go over there. They don't bother to study either. Now we combine our tests, and the scores are what? Because none of us studied, none of us made anything on it. Now they're all, pushing at a D- or an F. Great. Now society has failed. We're all at the bottom because we all realize that unless we all give 100%, no one's going to give any percent. And therefore, there's no more carrots. So in the end, socialism is a great theory or a great idea until you add the one factor of the human factor in there. And that is, if I'm going to work my butt off for a 16-hour day, and you're going to work for 3 hours, and we're going to each get 2 carrots,
Yeah.
what the hell? I'm only going down 2 hours. The problem is, in our society, if I don't work that 16 hours, the plants don't get weeded, get planted, the ground doesn't get tilled, and we don't get 16 carrots divvied up amongst 8 people, so we each get 2. We get 8 carrots.
This isn't actually why socialism failed, though, is it?
Well-
That isn't actually the reason socialism fell, though. That didn't really happen, did it?
Well, it's pretty much the guys at the top always get the lion's chunk, and the guys at the bottom get
Right.
the least amount.
So it was
but
the-
who's
it was
really
the-
growing the crops?
it
It ain't
was
the ones at the top.
It was the corruption that screwed it. It wasn't the
Hence,
people.
the human factor.
Well, the human factor here was the corruption. It wasn't the fact that people were too lazy to go out and work.
Yeah,
It was the corruption at the top that brought the government down, wasn't it?
well, yes and no, but it's also the fact that, yeah, I'm going to go out and work for the dollars or carrots or whatever, X number of time, but once I realize that not everyone's doing the same amount, I'm going down to what I know my neighbor's doing. My neighbor's only doing 6 hours, and I'm doing 10 hours. I'm going down to 6.
Who's realizing that, though? Like,
The common people are going to realize it after a while. And the only way it's going to keep going for any length of time is the ones at the top are going to have the military force, or the police force, or the muscle force, however way society you want to live in. I get the biggest guards because I'm the El Presidente, or I'm the big chief with the 7 bodyguards that are strong enough to each body press an ox. And you don't do your share of the work, my guys are going to come talk with you. Hence extortion. But anyway, I'm going to come talk with you and convince you that in order for the whole area to benefit, you must go back to work. Meanwhile, my 7 thugs aren't working those days. They're spending their time, their contribution, protecting me.
but how is it that nobody is working, and how can anybody get away with not working in that situation? They still have to work to live.
Well, that's the thing. In a lot of places, I mean, look at Russia. A lot of places, the common men couldn't live when they had it because there wasn't enough food for them. They made the food. All the food went to the general coffers that get divvied up. The guys at the top and the bureaucrats and the paper pushers who didn't do anything toward growing crops
So
suddenly get to eat off the same plate that out of the same pantry I made.
then maybe I misunderstood socialism a little bit. I just thought it was kind of the
That's the
scenario
general
where
gist. I mean,
everybody was only allowed to make the same wages, but you still had to work for those wages. But everybody was equal. Again, I'm not too versed on the socialism aspect. I'm
Even-
only telling you what I was.
even if you just went for that one aspect of it,
Yeah.
and that is everyone makes the same wage.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to school for 7 years to become a doctor to get paid X number of dollars a year? We'll say $4 a year just for an arbitrary number. And then me, realizing what's going on, I'm not going to university for 7 years of my life and studying and working my ass off to make $4 a year. I'm going to go flip burgers
Do you know what the
and,
problem with
and
all
dig
these-
dirt
you
and
know
make $4.
The answer, the reason people always say all these different systems suck is because they always have a low opinion of society. The lazy man of the society is just going to be the lazy man. In all these scenarios, the common man's a lazy man.
Name
All of them.
not the common man.
Or the,
There are always like
as
okay,
a whole,
if you go
they're
for the
always
top
claiming
dogs,
we're lazy. If we give them a chance to be lazy, they're gonna be lazy, and that seems to be the prevailing attitude for society as a whole.
yeah, but it's not just the common man they're saying it to. Like we
No,
as the
just
common man
everybody.
say the political leaders are lazy, or
Well, no,
The-
it's them saying we're lazy, and because of that, they have to motivate us by
taxing us till we bleed.
right until we're forced to be slaves to live. Right. So there's your motivation, but
But if you do look in all of societies, though, since we've had since the dawn of man that we know of since recorded history, you've always had con men. You've always had religion, which to me is one and the same.
yeah, yeah.
Another show later. You've always had people who have figured out the system pretty fast and can take advantage of it. Now, some people have the attitude of, well, they learned how to play the system, good on them. Other ones have it, well, no. Everyone makes an equal amount, and that's the end of it. You have a bare minimum sense of living, and after that, if you don't make any more because you don't work, well, tough shit on you. Some people are happy making less or getting it for free and whatever. Opinions don't matter, etc. The problem isn't socialism as the idea, or communism, or whatever you want to go with it.
Yeah.
The problem is once you put the human factor in there, you're going to have someone abuse it because you always have. And there's no way, there's no safeguards to prevent against that because everybody gets from the same piece of pie no matter what. Now, if that happens to be 3,000 people trying to take a blueberry out of that piece of pie and then you're out of pie, or is that 4 people all working together? If you have a small village or a small group or an extreme situation like, the apocalypse survival and da-da-da, then yeah, you can have a group where 2, 4, 8 families, 10 families all get together and live in almost a social level where everyone works and throws in the pot. But then you get one guy that's who's willing to go to work at 5 in the morning, come home at 9 at night, and his contribution to the local pantry, we'll say, and we'll go back to carrots, happens to be 3 times the amount of carrots I make, because I'm only going to work at 8 in the morning, and I'm coming home at 3 in the afternoon, spend time with my wife and kids. Then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. The whole system would be really based, and therefore everything about it would be really based on everyone doing an equal amount of equal type of work.
Sure.
Once you throw in different types, once you throw in illness, sickness, inability to do stuff, disabilities, physical handicaps, common fears, like for instance, everyone has to work together on shingling the roof. You're not getting my ass up there to move those. I'll carry stuff up and down the ladder, get up on the roof and work at that height, not a chance. Right? Then all of a sudden it becomes, well, if he doesn't have to go up and down the ladder and work on the roof, why am I have to? And.
Yeah.
So once you throw those different factors in, it starts to collapse. Not everyone's given an equal amount anymore. And then once that happens, it's, well, why do I get to work and pay 35% to taxes? He doesn't. Or she doesn't. Well, she's giving 35% of what she has, yeah, but she's only doing 1 hour work a day, or he's only doing 1 hour work a day. So his contribution is 1 carrot a day. My contribution is 60 carrots a day. He's giving a small chunk of 1 carrot. I'm giving 30 of my 35 carrots.
Yeah.
Where's the problem here? And at the end, we all got the same amount of carrots in our bowl.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where it's going to fall apart. And I think the idea of redistribution of wealth and money falls in the same thing. Or putting caps. If someone has a cap, they're never going to do anything to make that cap or above it, obviously, because they'll never get anything from it.
Why would they have to?
Right. Well, it's not so much why would they have to. There are still spin-off from it.
I mean, if you think about it, if they've reached that level of wealth, then they don't really need to. They're without need. So why would they need to take more from? There's only finite dollars in existence. So the more you take and hoard and do nothing with, the less I have. So why should you be able to sit there and hoard? You've got everything you could possibly want. You've got every jet, and Titanic, and ship, and astronaut rocket ship in the world, and still you got all that money in the bank doing nothing.
Is it less you have, or is it less you have access to get?
Same thing. It's the less I have in my pocket at the end of the day, right? It's in your bank. It's not in my pocket. Just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, but if it's if it was suddenly taken out of the bank and put into your pocket, our system, I'm not saying our system is correct or wrong, but our system would collapse because our system is designed the fact that some have to have less in order for some to have more.
That is
it's not needed.
Blatantly incorrect.
But it's how our system works.
Blatantly incorrect. I'll give you this interesting statement I read once. I can't say how true it was. I didn't follow up on it, but the sentiment is absolutely true, and the numbers are just slightly off, I'm sure. But I think it was the quote was, the top richest people on the planet right now could feed and house the planet right now while remaining the top 10 richest people on the planet right now.
Easily.
And the fact that they don't is very telling. See?
It does.
It's so the fact that they're sitting there with all that money, you're telling me that if they redistributed it, the world would collapse. And I'm saying that the world would get happy real fast.
But how long would it last?
Well, once you get all those people into positions where they don't have to worry about their survival, they can start becoming actual productive members of society. But when your whole life is just struggling to maintain a roof over your head, you're not really progressing society anyway. Really, what have you really progressed?
I don't disagree with part of that statement. Actually, part of that statement I fully support, and that is the fact that at no point in time should anybody within our society, especially in what is considered a first world society, have to worry about food, basic clothes, enough power to have lights and hot water and drinking water.
That's right.
And basic or a good education. At no point in time, healthcare, etc. Yeah. Should these be factors that people have to worry about? They are, by far. But on the other hand, if you this year took enough money from the top 10 to feed everybody and give them enough money in their pocket, somebody in the middle part of that chain, because it happens every single time they do a minimum wage raise or anything, is going to inflate theirs so they make a little bit more. Because they're not going to be happy still being in the middle part. They want us to take one step up that rung and become upper middle class instead of middle class, just as an arbitrary way of saying it. As soon as they do that, all that money now down below, a cup of coffee isn't $1.60 anymore. It's now $1.90. Well, it's only 30 cents more. You're right. Times that by the 20,000 people getting it every hour, and all of a sudden that money chews up real fast on an arbitrary item. Inflation
isn't based on how much each individual person has. Inflation is based on how much money the country has versus what the country's outputting.
That's what it's supposed to be. And it's more like inflation is based on what we think we can take from an area, and they won't collapse and riot against us completely. Example being, in my opinion, with the gas. Right now, the gas prices per barrel to get the crude oil in their refinery. Like everyone says, trading on the market, this is what, no, plus there's shipping, no, there's not. The trading and the market value is point blank what it takes for X company to get a certain number of barrels in their refinery to refine it up to a higher quality to sell. At the price it is right now, taking any other factor, compared to what it was 25 years ago and stuff like that, it's the same. Difference is 25 years ago we were paying at this price a barrel. We were paying what? I think it was like 68 or 70 cents a liter. Right now we're paying $1.15 a liter. Why? It's not because inflation says it has to be higher. It's not because it's because they know society will pay that much to keep going with what they have. In other words, we haven't pushed them to the point that they're going to revolt against us and risk losing everything they have, and therefore fight back as a whole. And we're going to lose some through the cracks where they don't pay anything anymore because they go on welfare or they go whatever else, and we take it from the government. We don't really care about that. What they figured out is they'll pay this much to keep their trinkets they got, to keep going with their jobs, keep going, because they have to, because we have them over the barrel on the other side, meaning if Bloggins doesn't go to work, he doesn't eat and feed his family.
You're talking about a commodity, and that is a commodity that can be controlled, but in a scenario where you're giving back everybody, when everybody's got the same amount of money, or you've taken all that money and put it back into production or back into use, there is no control factor anymore. A lot of people lose control factor over that because the money's been redistributed. There's no centralization of that money and power anymore.
Oh, it's still there.
So it's
the banks still have complete control.
You're not going to really inflate anything. Just all of a sudden people's going to have money. I bet you people would work less. There's no question. I'll give you that. My next question is, why do people have to work more? Why do we have to work so hard in the first place? Who says we have to have an 8-hour work day? Do you know this was actually tested already in Alberta? It was called Mincome, where for a year the government gave everybody, I think it was a minimum $18,000 a year, handed it to them in a check. Like, that was everybody, whether you had a job or not. Everybody got it. It was a very good success, actually, but it never went farther than that. I don't know why. Well, obviously I know why, but nobody wants us to have good things, but...
Well, the social classes blend a lot, but I think a lot of it comes down to controls from the bank.
Yeah.
The banks control the top 5 or 8 or whatever, control everything.
They have since the beginning, really.
Yeah.
Since money was...
The big quote that got me was, the banks have figured out that the world is, what was it, 18 or $35 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Well, trillion is probably too low of a number. We'll go with it.
Yeah.
$1 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
And my question as a common man is, how the sweet hell is the world in debt? Who are we in debt to?
Yeah, exactly.
We just passed Pluto with a camera and took some pictures of it and stuff like that, and it's kind of like, well, geez, I wasn't a planet before, but now all of a sudden I'm exciting again.
Yeah.
Who are we in debt to?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who are we?
To the best of our knowledge, which I really hope we're not the only ones, but we're the only ones in this universe, and if we are, then who the hell are we in debt to?
Exactly.
It's the same thing with deficits within a country.
Yeah.
If one person, I don't know how true this one is. I didn't. This was many years ago. I did a bit of follow up onto it, but not much. And that was if you took what each province owned each other within Canada and sorted it out and sat there and made a grid chart. Nova Scotia owes I'm going to use the Maritimes only in Canada because that's where I live.
Sure.
If you took Nova Scotia, what we owed New Brunswick, what New Brunswick owed PEI, what PEI owed Newfoundland. Sorry, Newfoundland, I include you in the Maritimes, even though you're a separate thing. Get over it.
We love you, Newfoundland.
We love everybody here. And Newfoundland owed Nova Scotia, we'll say, just as a circle for simplicity.
Sure.
And say it was all 30,000 was the minimum number. If you took the 30,000 from one, gave it to the next, which gave it to the next, which gave it to the next, and gave it to the next, and you did this amongst all the provinces, back and forth, they said a full third, if not almost half, of each province's debt load would disappear. It'd be gone.
So why don't you just knock it off then?
So why wouldn't we just do that? Well, of course we know
Just knock it
why,
off.
because the
Yeah.
banks are making the interest off each other for
That's
that.
right. That's right.
But my question, how are they making interest off of it? If there's only, say, X number of dollars, where's the rest of it coming
Where's
from?
the
And
rest
that's where
of it coming
loans
from?
come from.
Yes, sir.
If you put
That's where your mortgage
$1,000,
is coming from.
yeah, that's where everything comes from. If you put $1,000 in the bank, I was told,
Yeah.
the bank now has the ability to lend out
Much more.
$24,000 more. This is what it was a while ago anyway. they can lend out $24,000 with only that $1,000 you have in there as collateral.
When fractional reserve banking was set up, the original ratio was 1 to 9. So for every $1 put in, they could lend out $9,000 or $9 of fake money. But through various legislations, the ratio went up and up. It was up to 1 to 30, 1 to 20s, 1 to 30s, and now it's virtually gone.
Unlimited.
It's virtually unlimited.
They can just do what they want with it.
They got so many loopholes and pulls around now that they can turn $1 into as many dollars as they want.
As they need or they want. And,
Just
and tell me that isn't going to be...
clicks on the computer, like,
Yeah.
it's not even real.
Well, that brings us down to like the lending then. Student loans, for example.
Yeah.
Now, student loans
Yeah.
is a real beef I have. First off, just to throw my opinion out here, I don't know what you think, but I think in a world that we live in a country like Canada, secondary education should be free.
Well, in 1966, Canada is a signatory. We signed on to the United Nations Covenant on Economic, Social, and Education Treaty. All right. I had it on. I had it written down, but anyway, Article 13 in that is stating that education should be free in a progressive country. That was in 1966. And as a signatory to it, we agreed that through time we would improve our education system to provide free post-secondary education, college, university, whole 9 yards. And since then, since we agreed to make it better and freer, we've just raised tuition fees, charged more taxes, created greater loans. We've gone the opposite direction of what we promised to do on that document. So, I mean...
Promises are empty until the actions carry it forward.
Yeah, exactly, like we have not backed up. We signed a piece of paper, we provided lip service to it, but we didn't do anything.
You get the conspiracy theorists
BS, like...
that really believe that, especially governments, they really believe that, or they believe, sorry, that the government want everybody dumber. They want you just smart enough that you can go to work in the morning, push the buttons you got to push, sweep the things you got to sweep, push out the things you got to push out, go home, have your smokes, have your beer, have your steaks, have your whatever it is that you need to make you happy enough so that the next day you'll get up and go do the exact same thing again.
All over again.
Just smart enough to know how to do it, not smart enough to know why you're doing it, and not smart enough to understand that you know there's other things out there other than that.
And obey authority. That's the other lesson school teaches you.
Yeah.
Obey authority.
Now, that I don't disagree with. Now, I'm not sure the governments... I know as a society, any country that has higher education as their main purpose thrives.
Yeah.
Anybody who tries to get us to that, no, let's keep half of them dumb so that we can control them easier, for a layman's term to use, fails. It may take a long time to fail, but they fail.
Yeah.
Now, the obey authority thing, I got kids in school, and they don't really want to address the problems. Like, I got one kid that's super smart with math. So do you think there is extra teaching for that, extra opportunities for him, being a common man person, common man's kid? No, there's not.
Yeah.
I have to try to find a way, and the only way I'm going to find a way maybe is I sell a kidney on the black market to get him the extra schooling above and beyond, right?
Yeah.
That being said, in, like, say, Japan, if someone was to come in with an education that's just brilliant in math, they are catered to push that forward.
That's right.
Because as a society, they fully understand if he's brilliant in math and he does things amongst the world with math and he lives in Japan doing it, that means that resources and those monies and those finances come back to Japan.
Yeah.
In one form or another, be it through
way.
taxes, or maybe because he's paying people to work for him, or paying to have the big house built, or
That's right.
buying the imported fish, or whatever it is that this person likes, or whatever.
Yeah.
On our side, we happen to have it, like, if he's that good with math, he may somehow use it against me. Let's just keep him common.
Yeah.
As long as he shuts up, does the schoolwork I tell him to, says yes sir, no sir when I tell him to say it, and understands that he can't do anything against society, he's a good member of society. So, but anyway, that's going on to, back to the loans.
Yeah.
We don't take care of our secondary education.
No.
We tax, going into it to get an education that could move you forward used to pretty much guarantee you a job within society that paid better.
Yeah.
Now, the statistics are staggering. You go to university for 3, 4 years, 5 years. You got to work a part-time dirt job, rely on your family, rely on your friends, rely on a cardboard box you might end up living in or the backseat of your car
Yeah.
for so many years till you might find a job within that trade.
Within your field, yeah.
Or within the field, and then start making some good money. But by that point in time, the interest rate that's accumulated on your loan has gone so high
Yeah.
that even making the extra money, you don't stop living that class level for a long time.
That's right.
That's foolish. Every country that has secondary education that's either free or dirt cheap.
I was going to say there's a few. Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. They all offer free education.
And look at their education.
Up to college and university, even for foreign students.
Yes.
You only got to go pay to live. We could sign up tomorrow, go take
Yes.
university or college for free.
Right. But look
Just
what they're
gotta-
making out of
Just
it.
got to pay your living expenses.
We're- right, but for every 1,000 people that
That's
move into the
awesome.
country to live there for those 4 years or 7 years,
Yeah.
they get full incomes
That's
living
income,
in there.
right?
That's money coming in there, nothing going out.
Absolutely.
The professors are getting paid the same no matter what. The school's getting
Exactly.
paid the same no matter what.
The whole world
if you're gonna-
benefits.
If you're not going to have education free, secondary education, which should be, and it's going to be almost a mandatory thing nowadays in society, they won't look at you. For instance, you ain't got your grade 12.
Wow, yeah.
A lot of places won't look at you unless you got at least a
Useless.
couple years. Yeah, a couple years university, which even half the time that's useless now.
Yeah.
Etc. Then at least have it so that the couple controlling banks that are controlling everything aren't your only options to go to.
Yeah.
I'll use Nova
That's
Scotia,
true.
for example, and
Yeah.
we'll use doctors. We have a shortage of doctors. We know we have a shortage of doctors. Why do we have a shortage of doctors? Money.
Assuming we're not paying them. yeah.
Someone's going to pay a shit ton of money to go to school for 7 years. Your tuitions, your books, your training, your living expenses, your all, just a horde of friggin' payout to get yourself asshole deep in debt. Face first in, by the way, it's diving in.
Oh yeah.
And when you come out of it, I can go to Ontario, or I'm qualified, I can go to the States and live off $100,000-$200,000, depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing for a particular specialty, etc.
That's right.
Or I can go to Nova Scotia
Yeah.
and live slightly above dirt poor
yeah. Yeah.
and take forever to pay it off.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, but then our government will do something like, I don't know, spend $120 million to put in a bigger complex building in this main city of, which I understand is going to have its own revenue generating, etc. It's $120 million tax-paying dollars into it.
Yeah.
Now, if you took $120 million, just 1 year's worth, figured out how much it costs to send someone to school, and it's about, we'll say 10 grand a year, just an arbitrary number. It's not far off that 10 grand. Some schools are a little bit more, some are less. But, we'll say 10 grand a year, and if nothing else, we'll cover 10 grand of it a year. That's 7 years of university, so that's $70,000 per med student.
Yeah.
Take into account that's an extra $30,000 for arbitrary use, within that 7 years for that same med student. So we'll say $100,000. That means for every $1 million you could put 10 doctors completely through med school.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
for $1 million.
That's right.
They're not going to live high in the hog and travel to Europe in the summertime, but their basic expenses, we'll say, are going to be for $1 million. You can put 10 people through school,
That's right.
and I'm pretty sure if you went to a university and cleared it with them saying, "Listen, I'm going to dump $1 million in your freaking pocket. These 7 or these 10 go through school."
Yeah.
They're not going to look over and say, "Well, I think I need another 10 or 20,000." They're going to look over and say, "Cha-ching, done."
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, you take your 10, you pay for them to go to school. Now, this is where some people disagree with me on this one here. Well, why the hell should I pay for them to go to school and get a great education? I'm not going to. Just work with me here. We have extreme shortages within the med field. You pay for them to go to school. Now they owe you, or they owe the province. This is where the difference is. You now have to work within Nova Scotia for X number of years, we'll say 10 years. You can't leave it. You have to work within that field. For every year you don't go back, you owe $100,000. Or you owe however how much is
Whatever.
left remaining that your bill would have been.
Right.
Broken up over 10 years. You owe that back to the government.
Yeah.
By agreeing to go to these courses, maybe they have so they can seize your income tax and GSTs if it's Nova Scotia based, or da-da-da-da. Till they get the money back if you don't pay it, you know what I mean? You renege. But in exchange, you're guaranteed a job when you come out, just maybe not where you want to be. So to get your free 7 years education to become a doctor, you may have to work for the next 10 years afterward in Yarmouth instead of Halifax, or in Dartmouth, or in Cape Breton, or in Shelburne because they need them, or wherever's needed. That's where you are.
Yeah.
And I don't mean bounce them around every 2 years like the Army does or whatever else. I'm saying
Yeah.
you can take up roots in that area, and in exchange, there's a good chance that doctors would take up roots in that fam. They have children, they're going to that school, they have their friends and family, now they've established a lifestyle there.
Sure.
They may just stay.
Yeah.
If they choose after 10 years to up ship and leave because they've paid back their debt or their equivalent. Now, I don't mean they're living dirt poor because they're not getting a paycheck. They still get a paycheck like every other
That's
doctor
right. They're
gets.
still getting their paycheck. That's
It's
right.
just and taking 10 years to pay it back, you have to work where we want you to, or maybe make $5,000 a year less or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Then
Some penalty.
but the point is, yeah, what it would do is it would take people who can't get a student loan or can't get that kind of coverage or don't come from the top 5 or 10% that have enough money to send their kids to med school, and send people to med school that could do it. They have the grades for it. They don't get the money for it. Now all of a sudden, 10 a year. Now that's just for $1 million. We could send 10 people for $1 million. They spent $120 million to build a new friggin' building that isn't even finished. But anyway, that may or may not bring the attractions to the area that we need. And they estimate could be anywhere between 8 and 18 years before it's making money on its own now, enough to say it's worth the investment. I'm saying for $1 million in 7 years, we have 10 doctors in our country, in our province, that are stuck here for a decade, that we need desperately.
Yeah.
Now, some of them may not go anything past general practitioners or whatever they are, or they just stay here, they don't want to. And some, after 10 years, would take more upgrading courses and fly out of here. But for at least 10 years, we've alleviated the need in places like Shelburne or Digby or the Valley or Cape Breton or Antigonish or wherever needs it.
Yeah.
Right? And if every province, it's $1 million.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah.
$1 million. And if you did that for, we'll say, doctors, you could do it for dentists.
Sure.
And just
anybody.
I have no idea why in our society we pay for medicine's free. You can go to the hospital for free. You can get, but you have to pay out your ass if you want your teeth fixed.
Yeah. No.
And the best part is this going to become a medical problem? Yes, it will. Within a couple of years, you will have a medical problem if you don't fix this now at like $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's going to be a medical problem, how come it isn't covered in MSI? Because it's not a medical problem yet. Okay, so it can become a medical problem where I need like 3 procedures and it's going to cost me like $8 or $10,000 to get fixed, or you could give me $1,000 worth of dental work or $500 worth of dental work now for free,
preventative,
and not have to pay that $10,000 out in a couple of years.
That's right.
What they're banking on is your mouth hurting too much and you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But yet, if you go to Germany, if I go through Germany on a visit, and I need a root canal, which is like an obscene amount of money here, they walk in and say, sign these forms. What they're signing the forms is to justify to the government that pays their wages what they were doing with their time.
Sure.
Nothing more. You fill it out, you pay your thing, you go get the dental work, off you go.
That makes
Thanks,
sense.
enjoy the rest. Why is this? Because if I'm down there on a vacation spending my dollars in their country, it does no good for me to go to a hotel and spend my 8 days visiting Germany, we'll say, sleeping in a hotel room with an ice pack on my head and a bottle of Tylenol, popping them in, going to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying the sights. I'm not coming back because it was a horrible experience. I'm not spending my dollars there. I'm not doing anything. Dental work's free. But anyway, back to the loan. You could do it with dentists, or you could do it with nurses. You could do it with any of the public service people that you need. You could train them, educate them, teachers, whatever, and use them where you need them. Instead, we burden these people with you most of the time with such an outrageous level of money that it's not the best qualified necessarily to become doctors. And I'm not begrudging any doctor their time and effort into learning and doing stuff at all. Highly intelligent. You're doing a job that I myself wouldn't want to do, let alone maybe could do or whatever.
Take special people.
Right. What I'm saying is what I'm saying is that at least 80+% of them or more aren't the doctors necessarily with the best grades or the best qualifications. They're the ones with enough money to make it happen.
Right.
Whereas, and if we did this here, I mean, for $1 million, we could put 10 doctors a year through. 10 doctors a year. Evans said, well, that's not going to alleviate. Well, if you put a doctor into Yarmouth for the next 10 years, and we're like 6 doctors shy, I'm not saying put all 6 in there for the first year, but if you put 1 in Yarmouth, 1 in Digby, 1 in Shelburne, 1 all the way up through everybody that needed one that's really short, outlying areas first. Within 2 or 3 years,
get rid of some of that pressure.
Within 2 or 3 years, a lot of the pressure would be off those small communities and taken care of. And instead of people like leaving Shelburne, Digby, Yarmouth, to go to Halifax and putting the pressure then on the few doctors that are up there because they're short too.
That's right.
And now you get a doctor up there that's just, instead of having 1,500 patients, he has 7,000 patients he's trying to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not alleviating the problem any.
Yeah.
It's simply redistributing it up to one central area.
That's right.
And then driving up the cost of Medicare because you got to drive up to Halifax, you got to drive back, you got to get a hotel room.
Exactly.
It's not stimulating the economy, and you're taking away from it. Now, for like $1 million investment, I'm just using doctors as the key example in this case. I think all education should be free for secondary. If you qualify for the education of it, and you want to do it, let's get you qualified and trained. I mean, in the end, like any student loan for that matter. But anyway, if you can't do it that way, there's an example with doctors. My other idea when it comes to loans or taxes tax dollars, though I don't necessarily agree with it all. But education is one of the key things we talked about here today, or we want to.
Yeah.
And redistribution of money is, if we're going to spend 120 million on places and we can't give free education, I think we should at least offer a provincial level loan system for education, where instead of having to go to one of the banks, get myself in debt to one of the banks, and take 10 years to pay off my student loan, as an example. I don't know how long it take you to pay off yours.
I have not paid off mine. I will never pay off mine. And I have let the government know I'm never going to pay off mine. In fact, under Section 19 of the Canada Student Loans Act, I don't have to pay off that student loan.
I want to get into you in a second on that one, because I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
But, for instance, okay, you're never going to pay off yours at all.
Never.
Now, in turn, that university or school and system you went to still got paid their dollars.
Sure did.
And it came from the federal government,
Sure
which
did.
took it from our general tax coffers to do it.
Maybe.
So they took it from someone's general taxes to do it. And you don't think it was the top 1% that paid for your education.
Yeah.
It was the general dollars they used to pay that. That university got it no matter what.
Yeah.
And it came out of federal dollars.
Oh, yeah. People were paid.
People were paid. It's not like the university lost because you didn't pay.
That's right.
It's not like the middle guys lost because you didn't pay.
Correct.
The only ones that lost was the general coffers.
Nobody.
Well, it's all fake dollars anyway. But the
Well,
point is, it shifted around.
My point is that even though society as a whole may have paid for my education benefits society as a whole in return anyway. Nobody paid in this scenario.
Well, we all know it's fake dollars anyway. They were used.
Yeah, when it gets that way.
But in the end, okay, someone's going to use it as a number on their sheet saying they lost because.
That's right.
But it was the federal government that used tax dollars to do it, and they're going to use it as an excuse to raise taxes someday.
Even the bank got their money.
Everyone did.
Because the bank is the one who originally loaned you the money through the authorization of Canada, or through Canada saying, yeah, we're going to back them on that one. And when I don't pay it back, the Royal Bank didn't get their money until 6 years later, when Section 19 of the Student Loans Act kicked in, and then Canada paid my debt off. That's what Section 19 of the Canada Student Loans Act is. If you don't pay your debt off in 6 years, if you don't acknowledge it, which means you don't pay on it, if they call you up and say, hey, you owe this money, you say, no, I don't. Right? Doesn't matter if you signed on the contract when you originally signed for it, doesn't matter. It's what happens when the loan comes due, which is usually the next year. And after that point, if you just say, no, I don't owe that money, I don't owe you anything, and you never pay on it and never give them anything, 6 years later, the government will pay it, and they cannot come after you legally for that money anymore. It's called set-off. It's Section 19 of the Canada Student Loans Act. Set-off. Look for it.
Most people don't know that, but
Nobody knows that, and they're not going to tell you.
of course not, because they don't want people getting it for free.
But there are some caveats to it. For example, if the government owes you money, they're not going to give you that money. Like if they owed you income tax back and you own a student loan, they're not going to give you that money off.
What happens after 6 years when they write it off?
They're still going to take you that money from you.
And they're going to take it forever, pretty much, until.
Right. But you don't owe it. Like you're not pay. If you were to work your taxes out properly, so that you actually paid the exact amount of tax you're supposed to be at the end of each day, then the government didn't get any of that extra money for your loan.
Anyway, because they're just taking what was taxed
Right.
anyway.
They're only going to give you. They're just going to hold what they would have owed you back. But if you make it so that they never owe you anything, then they're never really going to get that money back.
Yeah, but the tax system's pretty much set up that they're always going to take more from the common people anyway,
Oh yeah.
from the lower class, to make up for the ones that they're not taking from the upper class.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But either way, so my idea was if you're going to have a loan system like that, then student loans should come from the provinces that are within that. Now, before this turned into a big pissing contest going against the banks, or why am I tax-paying dollars paying for someone to get an education, it is anyway, example, and he's not the only one. I've talked to a lot of people who had it happen to him. I just didn't know it was Section 19 and da-da-da. But anyway, if they were to take, say, I don't know, I'm just arbitrary number, $1 million or whatever else for student loans, or however much. We already know they're spending this much money, and then some. I mean, Christ, the federal government just lost $3.1 billion, and no one gets to question where it went.
Yeah.
$1 billion is a lot of fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Anyway, they lend it to, we'll say Brian, and Brian has an agreement to pay it back over X number of time. We'll say it was just $10,000. At this point in time, your agreement to pay back isn't the $10,000 plus prime plus 2.5% plus whatever the bank wants to fucking tack on at the end of the day. Plus, we're going to add a little bit more to the prime because we want to make a record profit this quarter instead of just a fucking like obscene amount of profit this year.
Yeah.
If you have an agreement with the province, you're going to pay back X number of dollars for a student loan, or in my case, I also think it should be for personal mortgages, but I'll get into mortgages in a bit on that. I think if you have an agreement with Nova Scotia, and I'm going to use Nova Scotia, that's where we're from, to go get an education, it's going to cost you $5,000 a year. You're going to go there for 4 years, so it's $20,000 you got to pay back. With a student loan through a bank, you're going to be paying back just about fucking forever. Because the interest rate's going to always be there to come up and come up and come up.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get close to the end, they're going to hit you with something different, or now it's time to refinance because you can only go for so many years and you get a refinance. And that's when they get to hit you with all the extra administration fees and because the term mortgage is like debt for life, and so isn't it?
Life debt.
And it's pretty much the same thing when it comes to student loans nowadays. But anyway, and it's because they don't want you out of debt. Because the banks don't care if society or a province or a country does good. It's about putting into their dollars. That's why there's like 5 or 8 major banks in the world, and there's how many countries? Anyway, if you owe $20,000, you agree to pay back, we'll say $28,000 or $30,000. This is a set in stone number. It doesn't go up
Yeah, it shouldn't.
in taxes or anything. This is set in stone. Each month you pay back your couple $100 or $500 or $1,000, whatever, and it's coming down. Then all of a sudden you run into a bit of money. Heaven forbid, someone passes away, you get some inheritance, you get this, you get that, you get a bonus, you happen to win the lottery, whatever, and you get an extra 10 grand you want to pay, and you're down to own 18, and I pay that 10 grand. There's no penalties for doing it, but if you get a student loan or if you get a mortgage, there's penalties.
Yeah.
Why the hell is there penalties for me paying off my debt?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't want your debt paid off, they want
That's
the
right.
interest that
They
you're
want
paying.
the interest you're supposed to be paying.
And you pay it. It wouldn't take that long for the dollars they actually lent you to be gone, and now they're making the profit margin. Well, that could take a long time. Or what happens if someone reneges? Well, you work that in there, like you don't get your GST back anymore because it's going to go to them if you're ever in arrears. Never if you're on time making your normal payments like always. You get your GST like normal if you're low income, or you get your federal level income tax back, etc. But if you agree to this here type of loan, then the Nova Scotia government has the right, if you get in arrears or to get delinquent with your payments, to then start keeping your GSTs and to start keeping your money from the federal government. They, instead of shipping it to you in here, Brian, it's in your bank account, it would be into the Nova Scotia's bank account until your debt is paid off. And then it goes back to you as if nothing ever happened.
Right.
If they can't find any other way. But the agreement is you're going to pay it off, etc. By doing this, then the extra dollars that are paid back in would eventually start going back into public coffers. But you'd see the light at the end of the tunnel, per se, because there's an end goal. With banks, when it comes to a student loan or a mortgage, there's only one end goal, and that's to keep you owing them money longer so that you can pay the interest to them.
Making those minimum payments.
Minimum payments, or any kind of payment, their idea is to try to get it so you have to pay longer because then they make the interest off you.
That's right.
Of fake money. But anyway,
Yeah.
mortgages are the same way. I think if you have a certain level of income, maybe in Nova Scotia, you could apply to them for a mortgage, and we'll say it's $50,000 for a number. Then your agreement is to pay back $65,000. We'll say. Now, a lot of people look at the numbers right off the bat and go, "I'm not paying them extra $15,000 or $20,000." Go to your bank.
Yeah.
And actually do the math on how much you're going to pay at
the end of that
so much a
compound
month
interest.
for so many years, and look what you're actually paying back versus what you actually owe.
Yeah.
I bet you a $50,000 mortgage is a hell of a lot more than $65,000 or $70,000.
Sure is. Mine was.
You're up in the $98,000 area.
Almost 2/3 again, or a third again.
At least.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah.
And that's depending on which one you got and when you got in on the market, and
Correct.
which bank you're in, and if the bank actually agrees to try to let you pay off and get out.
Yeah.
This way, if you did it through the province, you have a set amount to pay back, and you pay it back. If you happen to come across an extra $2,000 a year, you can nickel out by collecting cans in the ditch or whatever you're doing, right?
Let me throw this idea out. I read an article recently that said that there are more empty houses in America right now than there are homeless people.
Yep.
Why don't we just eliminate all mortgages and give everybody a house? What's that gonna kill? Yeah, it's gonna kill the real estate market a little bit. Some people are probably gonna lose their jobs in there. It's not gonna be so needed anymore. But lots of people got homes, you know.
Well, it's going to kill
Get rid of the mortgage.
all the real estate
We
people.
don't even need it anymore. Now that there's so many homes available to house people, why do we even need to build more? Why do we? You know what I mean?
Just use what you got.
Yeah, we got
And
it
then the
here.
money saved
Why do
could
we
be
have to
used.
keep going? It's almost like paying the minimum debt. Like, we've already built everything we need. Why don't we just start utilizing it for everybody? Screw the money, yeah, whatever.
Because the banks won't let it happen.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? That's why it's always coming back to the banks and the money.
But my question is, why do they have complete control?
Yeah, well, they've had centuries of
Which one was
time
it?
to
Was it
refine it.
Denmark? No, wait, one of them recently, or a couple of years back, when the banks got in deep trouble. What Canada do? We bailed out or paid money to the banks. What the U.S. do? huge financial payouts from the government, which came from the tax-paying dollars,
Oh, yeah.
to the banks to bail them out.
banks.
Now that the banks are back to making profits, do they give any of that money back to the
Back?
government?
Yeah.
Therefore, the people don't have to pay the extra taxes to make up for it? No.
And even if they did, they're not going to give us real money anyway.
You know what?
They give us
the point is, if they give it back so the
fake-
taxes can go down so common people don't have to pay so much,
Yeah.
but they took the common people's dollars in a roundabout way,
Oh, yeah.
gave it to the government because they tax us.
Yeah.
They gave that money to the banks to bail them out.
Yeah.
Now, this part I could almost understand, except for the fact that now we had to put our national, or the U.S. put their national debt load very high or higher to pay the banks out. Who do they owe the money to for the national debt load?
Yeah.
A bunch of it
Yeah.
to the same banks.
That's right. That's right. Like it's a big
Okay.
vicious circle.
So instead of just forgiving that same amount back later on when they start making profits again, saying, okay, instead of owing the banks, we'll say a number of $5 trillion,
Yeah.
you bail us out with $3 trillion. Now you only owe us $2 trillion because that's what would really happen normally
That's
in
right.
most societies. I mean, if I borrow $5 from you
You
and
would cancel some
I
of that
owe
out.
you later on, you borrow $20 from me. Well, you didn't borrow 20, you borrowed 15 because I owed
That's
you
right.
5.
That's right.
You know, back and forth it goes.
Yeah.
Nope. We still owe them the $5
big
trillion
big
plus the
amount.
interest
That's
on
right.
that for the last 5 years,
That's
even
right.
though. So it made no sense. Then you get this other little, like a lot of times when you compare it to like the big countries or what the big countries like the U.S. and stuff that think, these little relatively small countries, when their banks did the same thing and said we're going to go under. Well, you can't go under. You have all the money. You can't. No, we're going to go under, and they started really putting it to the people. The government looked over and says, no public bailout, no money for you. The banks collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh heavens, we're all going to go hungry now. Nobody went hungry.
Yeah.
They got bumpy for a few weeks
few
and a few
bankers
months.
might have been, but
They then took the big top guys in the banks that made all this happen, that didn't do what they were
Jail.
supposed to be doing. They threw their ass in
we're
jail.
talking about Iceland here.
There you go.
Yeah.
And there's a few other countries that have played along the same ideas of it.
Yeah.
Threw their asses in jail. They immediately took everyone's mortgage in the country and reduced it by 50%.
Yeah.
So if you owed a $50,000 mortgage, now you owe $25,000. Oh my Jesus, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
You know, that actually happened in Germany once too. I think, can't remember what years, a long time ago. They forgave. They actually wiped out everybody's bank accounts, I think. Made them all zero. Everybody, rich or poor.
But they also
No
did it.
debts. There
But
was
they
no
also
debt.
did it to the mortgages and loans. So
Correct, yeah.
I had no dollars in my bank, but I
It's
also
like a
owed no
reset.
money anywhere.
That's right.
Nobody did.
It was like a reset.
And it was like a boom happened right after too.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost everything. Yeah, but you didn't lose your house, you didn't lose your land, you didn't
That's
lose
right.
your car.
That's
You
right.
simply lost
It's
all
your
the money
money.
that was being hoarded for nothing in a
Right.
bank. But so anyway, yeah, they threw these guys in jail. They didn't do the bailout. They forgave this. They gave a lot more money. They give a lot more money to new parents and stuff like that. To give them going and stuff like that. So many,
Yeah.
like $1,000 I think it is, into an education fund that's locked away automatically.
And they fired most of their politicians.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know what? Their economy's doing
Doing
great.
great. Yeah,
Like-
fastest bounce back I think they've ever seen.
And in any country, and it was because they didn't do it the status quo that we do.
That's right.
So I think we agree on that one. Like, there's definitely too much control with the banks.
Yeah.
But in the case of if you can't get rid of the need, if you can't convince free education for secondary stuff like that, at least have it so that the banks don't control the only option for it now. Because in reality, you're telling them the 5 times. Good day, and welcome to Common Man's Corner. My name is Wayne,
And Brian?
and Common Man's Corner is designed to be a discussion about what affects the common man. What society thinks is right, or what it thinks is wrong. Hopefully generate some discussion, bring up some viewpoints to maybe just get the rest of the world understanding what the common man really thinks, not just what we're told. Tonight's topic, I think we're going to go with right to the core of all the evils or all the goods, depending on which side of the coin you're on, is money. Money's been around pretty much since, or currency has been around since the dawn of time and the dawn of man, since we started recording things. It's been the controlling factor of a lot of things, and most people believe, or a lot of people believe, it's the root of all evil.
Pretty much is, like.
Now, being the root of all evil is great and dandy, but let's face it, Brian, I mean, our society and every society isn't going to function without money.
Pretty much not, yeah.
So,
Some way it's got to be used in some way, shape, or form, but I mean, it's not being used right now. That's correctly now. That's for sure. Like,
yeah, but is it not being used right, or is this not being used right by the 99% where the 1% have all of it?
yeah, that's true. But really, it's not even being used right at all. Like, money should operate and represent energy, movement, progression, whereas a lot of our money we're using it now is for things like making money from money. is wrong. That's not the intent or purpose of money. So you can't making money off of interest is wrong. In fact, speaking of interest, did you know that there is no religion? If there's one thing that unites all religions, it's that they all agree that taxes are wrong. Even Christianity says that Jesus said it, that taxes were wrong. It's wrong to tax the man's work. So, I mean, it's bullshit.
I think all religion agrees to that because they themselves don't want to be taxed. And they get away with it while the rest of us pay it.
Yeah, that
but
is true.
Religion's another topic we'll get into later on because
Yeah.
that one could be quite heated and quite controversial. But yeah, taxes, I understand the concept behind taxes. I mean, you pay your taxes, the country that you live in keeps going. You got to have taxes for public roads, you got to have it for hospitals, you got to have it for whatever else. Otherwise, it all just kind of falls apart. My problem with taxes is, or one of the big things is, it's not uniform.
That's true.
You're dirt poor.
Yeah.
Sure, you got up to a certain tax bracket, you don't pay anything. I understand that. If you ain't got two nickels to rub together, you're not going to be able to take 2 dimes from the guy.
That's right.
That makes sense. And then you get the middle class guy, and in our case, anyone making between $20,000 and $60,000,
Yeah.
and it's just a large chunk is gone.
Yeah.
So he works a 40-hour work week, but in reality, you're only working 20 hours or 15 hours for yourself. The rest of it's
That's
working
right.
for the government that's paying for you to take it from you and doing it in. So it's kind of a circle there.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the ones that are making 100,000, 200,000. They're just raped.
Yeah.
Like we all sit back and say,
Believe it.
as the common guy saying, I'd love to make $100,000 a year. There's nothing I couldn't do. Bullshit.
You pay out a lot of it. That's
You
what you're
lose
gonna,
a lot
That's
of
what
it.
you're gonna do. Yeah.
The problem comes in when you start hitting like 500,000, $1 million. Then all your legal loopholes come in.
That's right.
And
yeah.
there's nothing. There's guys that will make $1 million and pay less taxes than a guy that will make 25,000 will pay.
That's right. Yeah.
There's issues with that. And of
Yeah.
course, it's already been a proven factor with what the churches make alone. If they paid taxes on it like the common people do, we wouldn't have a debt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
true. They get away with a lot of taxes. You're right. Like the Vatican, like ridiculous. They would probably pay the homeless with the taxes they would generate if they did have to pay it. Like, isn't that what they're supposed to be doing anyway? Like with all that money.
That's what they have to claim.
Right.
But once again, we're getting into religion on that one.
Yeah. True.
So money being the root of evil, we're all good. We need to have money. We
Yeah.
need to have
So
currency.
we're agreeing on that.
I don't disagree with the fact that if you work hard and you have a lot of good luck or good deals, or you're simply really skilled, or you own the company in the big business, you get to make the bigger amount of money, and you should be able to take home the bigger amount of money.
Sure.
And let's face it, if you earned the money or made it, or were smart enough to put all the risk into your, like all the eggs in one basket and take all the risk,
Sure.
you get to have the bigger car, the bigger boat, the bigger house.
Sure.
I got no problem with this stuff.
Yeah.
But I really think across the board, if you're going to pick whatever amount, 10%, 20%, 30%,
Yeah.
45%, whatever it is for taxes, everyone pays it across the board.
Yeah.
If you make a charitable donation to a church or religion, that was your God you chose to worship.
You chose to do it.
You don't get a tax write-off for this
breaks for
crap.
that. That's right.
I don't get, I didn't get to have a church come over to me and look over and say, geez, boys, you're having a really tough go this year. Here's a little extra for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
And frankly, I don't want it anyway. There's others that could use it more. But the
Yeah.
point is, they shouldn't get tax breaks. If you give to a political party, that is you choosing to support the party you want in,
That's right.
or the lesser of the evils of the parties that we have to choose from most of the
right.
time, to put in. That's the whole point. It's called support, not I'm going to give to you and then get even more off my taxes in the long run. If I'm rich, and if I'm poor, well, thank you very much for your dollars, fuck you.
Yeah. Exactly.
As long as I get your dollars or your vote, I don't need both.
Yeah. Another thing that you've ever thought about having a maximum amount of money you could ever earn at any given time. Like if you consider that money is everybody's, it's a public, it's a public commodity. It's owned by all of us. For one person to hoard it all, or for one group of people to hoard all that money, isn't that really going against society as well as a whole? Sure, they worked for it, and maybe they theoretically in some universe deserve it to have more than the rest of the planet combined, but they say we can't put caps on what you're allowed to earn because it points back to socialism, I believe. I don't really know much about socialism, but I keep hearing that word pop up a lot, and it sounds like a great system because all the great ideas seem to come out of it.
Wow,
But
socialism.
I don't know anything about it, but I do know that it seems to, if it's working right, my understanding of it's supposed to take care of the people, right?
Well, I've studied a little bit of socialism.
Oh, yeah.
The theory behind socialism is brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone gets an even amount.
Right.
Great. That's providing everyone puts in an even amount. It's supposed to be based on your strengths and your weaknesses. No one gets left behind. Everyone gets it. There's 25 carrots and there's 25 people. Everyone gets 1 carrot and you all make do.
I see.
The problem is you get 3 guys out there growing those 25 carrots and you get 2 guys saying, I'm going to record and document all the information that goes about the carrots. Sitting
Okay.
back in a nice warm heated house doing nothing but posting paperwork.
Okay.
And then you get a guy at the top saying, well, yeah, but I get my carrot just for simply by telling people, okay, you're going to be the carrot farmer this month. He's going to be the potato or dirt pusher, and he's going to be. And then you get half the society is going to sit back and say, no, I'm not doing anything, or I'm doing the cushy jobs, per se.
Okay.
You also get the problem with socialism being, and therefore the problem of even distribution of money, we'll say, because some people like to use the distribute from the rich and give it to the poor.
Okay.
When that happens, or same with money, I really think you're going to run into the problem of. Best example I saw was a group of people, like 10 or 20 people, all doing a test. How socialism would work is you study really hard and you get a C because that's the best you're going to achieve.
Yeah.
I study extremely hard and I get a D because I'm just not good in this particular topic. Joe Bloggins down the corner studies really hard and gets an A.
Yeah.
Great. This is what we have on this particular subject. Next subject comes around, you study really hard, get an A+, I study really hard, get a B-, and Joe Bloggins comes in at an F because he ain't got a clue what he's talking about. We all have strengths and weaknesses, we can all go with it. But
Sure.
with the communist or with the socialist side of it, we'd all do our tests, we'd all turn it in, she tallied